We're out here just rallying in support of SB 684, which would require the major climate polluters to pay into a fund that would help relieve the taxpayer burden on major climate disasters. And we're also out here just in support of, the overall climate strike that's happening all over the world today, coordinated by Fridays for Future.
Greenhouse gas emissions flow across borders, climate impacts flow across borders, and I really think it's going to take all of us to come together to kind of recognize this existential threat that we're facing as a species.
We're often told, just, drive an EV, recycle, and those are great, but we need systemic change too, and we're not going to get that if we don't stand up, because right now, we are going and lobbying against oil companies. They're dumping millions of dollars into political campaigns, and that makes our voice as everyday Americans less powerful. So we need to fight that. We need to show our resistance to that in order to make change.
Every person is, they could do a lot actually if everyone start doing something.
There's just so much damage being done not only to our environment, but to us.
The climate crisis means to me that I won't have a future equal in potential to everyone who has come before me. I can say for sure I do not understand why we continue to put short-term profits over long-term losses. I just want to have a future where, we can all have a tomorrow to look forward to.
My dream for this world is for people to live in peace and carry themselves with love and love your enemy and show each other that we still can care about each other while we're disagreeing, and we can still educate each other and to not come from such a place of hatred.
It's hard for people my age to make a difference, but opportunities like this give us an opportunity to use our voices and make a change. We're running out of time, and it's so important, and so many people need to understand how crucial it is to actually make a change and stop what's happening now.
I want to make our legislators know that people care about this, the youth care about this, and as their constituents, this is what we're asking for. We're asking for these bills to be passed and for change in our environment. Especially in California, we have so many amazing native species, and it's really sad to see them dying out. I'm a religious person, and I believe that the entire earth is God's creation, and that it's our job to take care of it.
And this year, me and my friend started a club at our school to help raise awareness and educate people and to move forward and try to take action with our legislators to make change.
When I see people around me today rallying and striking, that gives me hope.
Even though I and all the other youth you see here right now should be in school right now, we're instead fighting for a future that should have already been secured for us. And we've been told our entire lives that education is the key to our future, but the reality we face forces us to leave the classroom to demand a livable world. Because what good is education if there's no safe future to use it in? So we today are going to carry on the legacy of Fridays for Future because we truly care about pressuring governments to take climate action and using the power that we have as young people to make that happen.
The past generations have made it so difficult for us to even have our voices heard, to even afford a life here in the world in general, right? So I knew from that day on of learning in my 6th grade classroom, when my teacher said, your generation will have to make the changes, will have to have their voices heard, I knew we have the challenge and we need to take it on.
My name is Everett Shaw, and I came up here from Palo Alto to be with you all today. And I can proudly say that I took public transit on my way up, not just because it's a good thing for the environment, but also because I don't have a license. I'm a sophomore in high school, and for the last 8 years, I've been fighting for a livable planet. And if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that this fight is more than just about melting glaciers or endangered species. It's about people, it's about equity, and it's about our future. will make it impossible for them to ignore us. We'll be so loud that they'll be able to hear us every single day. And we give them a choice to be remembered for being on the right side of the line, and also an opportunity to stand with us. So my message to every single person in that building today is history is watching us, and our future is not up for negotiations.
High School in Rockland, California, and I'm a senior currently, and next year I'm going to be going to UC Berkeley studying society and environment. Okay, so I'm here today because, like all of you, I care deeply about the future. The Make Polluters Pay bill would finally make fossil fuel companies and big polluters pay for the amount of CO2 they emit that directly impacts our climate, worsening wildfires, droughts, sea level rise, all of it. The money would go into a state-managed fund to help communities directly impacted by natural disasters rebuild their homes and lives. Like all of us have learned when we were 5 years old, if you make a mess, you clean it up. As a young adult whose dream is to build a home here in California and raise a family here, I'm scared. How will I be able to afford a home in California? With the possibility that a wildfire will burn it down and no insurance company will help me pay for it. How will I be able to support a child someday? What does it mean when young people don't even feel safe enough to imagine a future family? That emotional toll is real. And our leaders need to start listening to us. This is not just a moral issue, but it's an economic one as well. The economy today is struggling terribly. It's noticeable when you walk into a grocery store how prices are surging. We, the people, shouldn't have to keep pouring money into disasters caused by industries that are dying and dragging us down. Economists, even the ones who used to deny the problem, agree. If we don't invest in climate adaptation, we risk economic collapse. But if we do invest, we can create new jobs and build an economy that actually supports our future. Top universities like MIT and leading economists are sounding the alarm. Climate inaction is too expensive to ignore. According to the EPA, the US could avoid up to $280 billion in damages annually by investing in climate solutions. This bill is one step towards that. We're not seeing the support we deserve from our legislators. Legislators call themselves leaders, but many aren't showing up for us, for the planet, and for future generations. So today, we rally here to say, do your job. Support youth-led climate action, make polluters pay, and fight for a future that actually works, for people, for the future, and for the economy. Thank you.
All right, it is really, really awesome to hear so many young people speak their minds, speak their truths, because again, we are the people who are going to inherit the future, and it is time that we make our voices heard. So now what we're going to do is something called a die-in. Who has heard of a die-in before? Cool, and if not, no worries. So what a die-in is we are going to represent what our future could look like if our legislators don't take immediate climate action. What we do know is that our futures are going to be riddled with diseases, with worsening climate storms, and things that are really, really bad for us. And we know that our future is not sustainable if we don't take immediate climate action. And so it is a little bit more serious, but we're going to be representing what could happen, and that's not a livable future. We're not going to be able to sustain future generations, and we're not going to be alive to see that if we don't take immediate climate action. So when this bill was passed in New York last year, one really key way that legislators saw this as immediate, and one really big way that they saw that young people would need to take the leading role in this was their die-in. They saw that young people would not be alive to see future climate action, future progression, whatever it is, if they did not pass the Climate Superfund bill into law. And so that's what we're going to do today. The pictures that you see here are going to be instrumental in making sure that legislators see that young people will not be alive to see future generations and future progress if we don't pass this bill today. So what we're going to do is lay on the ground for about a couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes, so that pictures can be taken, and we just kind of understand the importance of why this bill needs to be passed and why our futures heavily depend on it. So it's a die-in because it represents that we all could be dead if this bill does not pass, which I know is a little morbid, but it makes for a really, really powerful narrative. So we're going to just kind of lay on the ground, if you're comfortable doing so, for about 2 minutes, kind of a moment of silence as well, and we'll kind of keep going after that.